Y'all need to take responsibility for Top Model and any kind of other toxic or mean or traumatizing reality TV because y'all watch it because that's what y'all like to see. I have some very unpopular opinions about the whole not Tyler, goddamn, Tyra Banks Top Model situation. So let's get right into it. Number one, I did not watch this as a Tyra fan nor somebody who hated Tyra. I was the perfect person to watch this documentary because I was right there in the middle. Right there in the middle. I don't have to struggle to give or take away accountability. So let's start with just at random. Number one, let's talk about Shandy. Shandy, my girl. Didn't appreciate how they either edited or she spoke about it as if she was passed out and was taken advantage of by the boy. That is not what happened. Let's paint the picture. Shandy was basic and regular, working at Walgreens, was not getting very much male attention until she got there. Got that makeover. She looking good. She getting called pretty all the time. She gets a chance to flirt with a cute dude. She does it. She gets on that juice. She got a boyfriend, but she wasn't thinking about his ass at that time in that hot tub. She got in the hot tub, got loose on that juice, end up getting buck wild, and then you want to paint it as if as if production did something to you. Production do anything to you. What happened is your inhibitions was low and you wanted to kiss and cheat on your boyfriend. You wanted to cheat on your boyfriend. That's what you did. You wanted to. You were drunk. I get it. Now, actually, I kind of don't get it. I'm somebody who don't drink or smoke. But from what I've been told about alcohol, is sometimes you can get a little bit too drunk. You can wake up the next day and not remember what you're talking about. I think those are the blackouts she was talking about. But when you say I was blacked out, in and out, I didn't really know what was going on, you're trying to paint it as if you were just and you weren't. They said you were getting buck wild in the shower, which means you had to be standing up. So you couldn't have been passed out. My whole thing is it was not SA. It was not any type of assault. Two consenting people decided to get in there and get buck wild. So I posted this on TikTok and somebody gonna say, well, if you're drunk, you can't consent. Okay, well, that means the boy couldn't consent. So why are we not crying about the boy? So if both people were drunk, so neither one of them could consent. I call bullshit on that. Now I do understand if you're past that. Now if you just and somebody just come just cause some balls on your chin, that's one thing. But I don't feel like that was the case. Number one, I do not think that production, as shiesty and evil as y'all saying production was, nobody is going to have on tape essentially a date grape video because that would be asking for a real lawsuit. So I'm not really caring about what none of y'all are saying. Shandy is a victim of her own errors, of her own mistakes. And then when Jay came out and said, well, someone suggested the boys come over, all of that's fine. Nothing's wrong with the boys coming over. Nothing's wrong with her getting on that juice. Nothing wrong with her cheating on her boyfriend. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of it. If she wanted to cheat on her boyfriend, cheat on her boyfriend. All right, that's fine. Do all that. But my old problem is this whole production production, they just forced me to drink. I didn't want to drink anything. I didn't even drink. I asked for juice. And when I sipped it, I was like, oh, that's liquor. And then I just kept drinking and I got wasted. And then I cheated and production, they influenced me, They told me that if I cheat, then like I'll be America's Next Top Model. No, it's not how it happened. It's okay. And I don't know why the people who drink alcohol are so hard on her at any point. Everybody who drinks, I'm sure, has done some questionable things while they was on that juice. Now, if you know that juice gets you loose, then you shouldn't drink it. Then just get you some damn juice, regular juice. Okay. So miss me with all of that. She made a mistake. It was filmed. Now, I deeply empathize with the mistake, especially one that ruined your relationship, being on TV forever. It's got to be rough. Wasn't your finest moment. Everybody thinks you a hoe. It's just not. I can empathize with the pain of all of that. That must suck. Like some shit I didn't even want to do. One of my biggest mistakes in life is on TV for the masses to see forever. I will forever be judged. I will forever be out there. Damn, that sucks. I should not have done that. That's where the conversation begins and ends. She shouldn't have done it. Blaming Tyra and the production for that makes no sense. It doesn't matter who suggested that the boys come over, because everybody wasn't getting buck wild. Now, production going around sprinkling a little something in people's drinks. All right. We need to that's completely wrong. If production sat there and watched some Epstein file type shit and just got it on camera, that's fucked up. But it's kind of like when y'all watch Love and Hip Hop, you know, so and so then got drunk and she fought somebody, and you crying that they filmed it and aired it. Absolutely not. Like that, you shouldn't have got drunk and fought. I don't know. I really don't know. It's like y'all want to give everybody some goddamn accountability, but the person that did it. And I'm not shaming or judging Shandy for what happened. I'm just saying, cut the shit with the essay. Stop leading it. Stop trying to say it like that. Because that's the case. That boy was essay too. Since you can't consent, that was essay too. Somebody said, if you can't consent while drunk, so I guess you and your man on the honeymoon when y'all was on the champagne and y'all got busy, was both of y'all essay that he essay you? I heard through the grapevine that a little juice make the ass better. Y'all let me know in the comments, does juice make the ass better? Because I know a lot of couples who get drunk so they can get buck wild. At my famous events, we gave them alcohol. It was some people that were drunk, not drunk, but they got tipsy under the influence and they get buck wild and they end up, cutting loose. So being drunk under the influence makes it SA. So everybody's getting SA'd all the time who drinks alcohol. Come on, it's ridiculous. It's just, maybe it's nuances I'm not missing, but Shandy, he's going to sit down with that, and stop crying 20 fucking years later. God damn, it ain't that big of a deal. You made a mistake. You'd had a lot of time to get over it. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop saying that. Let me stop. You cry as long as you want to, but don't say it's SA. Moving on. Production did not have to have Dion do the violent shoot with, they knew that her mama was a victim of gun violence and they had her depict gun violence. They definitely didn't have to do that. They definitely could have gave her the shit with, the photo shoot where you didn't fell off the building or something like that. They did not have to give her the gunshot shoot because that's what she went through. I get that. I mean, someone would argue maybe that would have brought up more emotion, made a more compelling photo shoot. Somebody would say that, but in all honesty, that's not cool. That's just like somebody suffering from real essay, not like Shandy's fake ass. And then you got to recreate it, just for views or whatever it is. I do see what she was saying on that. Okay, maybe production was a little fucked up with that. Okay, all right. Moving on. Danny with the Gap. You can shut up with that too. Nobody told you to get your Gap closed. You made a choice. You wanted to stay in the competition and win. So you decided to get your Gap closed. Nobody even Tyra. Tyra said, you need to close your Gap. And let's all be real. She didn't need to close the goddamn Gap. Her damn Gap was this wide and had a little meat dangling in the middle. I hate them kind of gaps. Them kind of gaps are terrible. And anybody who could get the dangling pink meat, the gummy, I hate a gummy gap. That shit dangling in the middle was not looking good. It did need to go. So I don't even know why we crying about that. And if it was that deep to you could have left. That's the thing about this. And I'm going to drive this point home real good at the end. But what's sickening about how y'all are acting about them, the fucking contestants of a reality show. And I'm not trying to say that it wasn't terrible things and that they weren't mistreated and that the production didn't do shicey shit to get views. Sure, they did. But these people definitely could have left at any fucking time. It's the same thing y'all say to Cassie, to R. Kelly victim. You could have left at any time. Why y'all done had an energy for these goddamn contestants on this show? If Danny didn't want to close the Gap, she could have fucking left. And they ain't told her nothing wrong. That Gap did need to be closed. It was too big. It was too fucking big. And yes, later on, Tyra said they wanted to widen somebody's Gap. I don't know, times change. I don't fucking know about that. I don't really care about that. That is kind of crazy and wild and fucked up or whatever it is that she was forced and then opening. Okay, but one thing at a time. Danny, your Gap did need to be closed. You look better with it. And if you would have gone out trying to get modeling contracts with that big gummy gap in your mouth, and they would have said, well, your teeth are fucked up, you would have had your mouth poked out and still found a way to blame Tyra in the show for letting you think you fly with the Gap. I do honestly feel like everybody would have told her to close that goddamn Gap and get a teeth fix. Everybody would have. So I don't know what all of this crying about the Gap is about, because nobody forced her to do it. You had a choice, because she said, so what you're telling me is either I close my Gap or I'm going home. You decided to stay. I mean, and you look better, so shut up. Second thing is with the Gap. I already addressed that. With the situation with widening the gap. I liken that to, I don't know, maybe it was other people that came before her who had a gap and they realized it could work. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do feel like, again, the type of gap matters. She had the little meat hangling in the middle, and it was too wide. That makes a difference. All gaps ain't the same. Anyway, moving on to Joni. Joni said, and the way they were painting it was really annoying. What she went through when she was at the dentist. Horrific what she went through. The dentist just pulled her teeth out. I mean, yeah, her teeth was fucked up. The dentist had to do what he had to do to pull her teeth. And her teeth looks better for it, and now she happy. I think she ended up saying it's a couple of, that it's not a perfect job or whatever it is. Well, she can go get that fixed again. But I tell you what, her correcting whatever she need to correct was a lot less cheaper than what it'd have been if she got her whole mouth done on her own dime. She wanted to get her teeth fixed. She was happy about it. I don't even know why they put that in there to paint it as if production did something wrong by fixing the motherfucking teeth. Shut up. Now, this ain't really me most to Joni. Joni, what was like, had a reasonable uh perspective of that. Y'all the one dramatic about Joni's fucked up teeth getting fixed. Shut up. Anyway, let's go on to who else? Let me think. The only one that had, there's only two scenarios from the models that I felt that had valid gripes. And number one was definitely Kenya. I really don't know what any of them were talking about with that. If she's saying she is uncomfortable, that the nigga had the fucked up hair, just split ends and thin and padded all and all uneven, unshapen, and padded down, flat on one side, spiked on one side, fizzy, cotton bally, fucked up hair. I don't know what his hair was doing. It was terrible. It wasn't nappy or straight. It was just fuzzy and thick and thin at the same time. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this damn hair. I really don't. But either way it go, that was absolutely, she should have been the only one on there talking about something traumatic happening, because he wasn't getting it. And Tyra's advice, just be cute. She actually, if you look at the footage, Kenya was trying to let him down easy the whole time. He wasn't getting it. And she absolutely was not protected. And he kept on grabbing on her because he saw nobody cared. That everybody involved should have no excuses about what happened with that. Even Nigel, it's nothing. The only person that actually took accountability for real was Tyra on that. I don't know why you act like Tyra didn't apologize. She did. I mean, she said Kenya deserved more. And if I can go back, she absolutely deserves an apology because she did. Kenya, you probably the only one on there that had something valid to say. You and the girl with the gunshot thing. Y'all two, for me, as far as what I saw here, are the only ones that had a valid gripe. Take that back. We got to go back to Danny. Now, let's talk about Tyra, how Tyra wouldn't shit on some of this. Tyra absolutely wouldn't shit on that girl 15 years later saying, yeah, I knew you was out there struggling and wasn't nobody gonna call you back and that you really was doing terrible in life. And I probably could have helped out, but I just didn't. I really didn't. I knew just by you being on my show, you wasn't gonna go nowhere, really. I knew that, but I didn't really feel like fucking with it. I was too busy eating ice cream. It was good. It was tasting good. I didn't really feel like fucking with it. You ain't shit for that, Tyra. Now let's talk about where Tyra ain't shit. She ain't shit for that. I don't know why Tyra wouldn't want to do her absolute best to be sure everybody, no matter whether you won or not, did well, because that's just good for your show and your brand. To be able to say anybody who's on top model skyrockets their career the best they can, and you make sure you're doing everything you can. Obviously, I don't think Tyra can wave a wand and make anybody just an instant star. I think there's so many other factors that go into that, but I do think it was up to Tyra to do the best that she could for everybody that was on her show, especially since y'all didn't pay him shit. So the least y'all can do is make sure they have the best success. So she absolutely wasn't shit for that. Now, Danny, you're valid in your feelings of Tyra for that. Valid. Tyra, you ain't shit for how you treated the two J's and Nigel. If you knew that they were talks of them getting fired, the first thing you should have done is came and told them, hey, look, they're talking about firing y'all. I want y'all to get prepared. I want y'all to, if y'all have some other opportunities that are lined up, you may want to not tell them no, because it's they're talking about firing y'all. I'm going to do the best I can to keep y'all here. But at the same time, they're putting pressure on me. I'm fighting for it. So I think maybe next cycle, if I don't get my way, it's a good chance y'all might be gone. So since I'm telling y'all that because I love y'all, man, and I don't want this to happen. I'm fighting. I'm doing everything that I can. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good chance that it's a 50-50 chance that y'all could be gone. So if you get an offer for another show, I don't decline it for this show because I'm not sure you're gonna be here. That is and cry and hug it out. Tyra absolutely owed them that. It ain't no, oh, I didn't know they were putting pressure on me. The minute the pressure started, you tell your motherfucking friends. Didn't you say that y'all was gonna always bring stuff to each other? So Tyra, why you ain't do that? Like, why you ain't do it? Why didn't you do that? I'm confused. Why didn't you say that? Like, why didn't you bring your friends in? The two J's and Nigel should have been the first to know that some shit is going on. Your loyalty needs to be to your friends as far as communication. Okay. So as soon as it was whispers, we're thinking they're not working, it should have been, oh shit, I need to warn them or I need to talk to them. Or if you don't want to do it immediately, have a couple of meetings with them, fight it out. And if you absolutely can't change the outcome, you tell them that. You wrong and fucked up for how you handled them. It shouldn't have been no miscommunication. If they thought it was something, they shouldn't have thought nothing. There shouldn't have been no room for miscommunication on where the order came from to get rid of them people on that show because you should have brought them in. It's considerate in so many ways. As I said, it could have been turning down projects because they thought they're going to be on the next cycle and they're not. So I'm turning down shit and I don't even have a job. You don't handle people like that. She was wrong for that. 1,000,000%. Now, you're also wrong for not ensuring everybody releases a statement at the same time. Why are you letting the narrative out that they were fired? Now, let's just say Samantha leaked it to page 6. Let's just say Tyra didn't leak it. Well, then you needed to come out and say, I don't know who leaked that, but it was false information. They were not fired. You can absolutely do those things. Okay? Wrong for that. She wrong as fuck for not going to visit Miss J. I don't care what happened. When somebody can't talk and has a serious health condition, things typically get put into perspective quickly. So I know we had a rough patch back in 2003 or whatever it is, but I need to come to see you. And I do believe what Jay said. She's probably some fear, some shit she don't want to face, but we need to do that. Speaking of fear and not facing shit, she also ain't shit for how she handled Jay Manuel when he said he wanted to go. Now, I don't know. It's not exactly clear. When he sent the email, was that him just letting her know how he felt, and that he wanted to leave? Or was that like, did he CC the network and quit? You know what I'm saying? Because if he just sent that email and put the network and all of the Ken Mock and all of them on the email, but I don't think that's what happened, then that I would, if for Ty, I'd be like, nigga, you just gonna leave? I'm thinking everything cool and you just gonna tell everybody you leaving? I would understand why Tyra would be upset about that. But even then, you still talk about it. But if he just sent her an email thanking her for the opportunity, but saying why he was considering leaving or wanted to leave, he just sent it to her only because he didn't say he sent it to everybody. I think he just said he sent it to her. Why? Then that's the conversation. That's the conversation. You have that conversation. But one thing he did on was he was people pleasing. And I do believe that they did a low key threat to get him to stay. Well, I don't know how you probably want to work in TV. I mean, you can leave now if you want, but you be putting us in a tough spot. And if you're gonna put us in a tough spot, then you may be in a tough spot looking for work because yeah, we probably gonna tell people not to work with you no more. But the decision is yours. Yeah, that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So that is understandable that he would keep coming back. But I don't understand why Tyra wouldn't talk to him. That's the part that sucks. You should be able to talk to him, even if you're disappointed and hurt. I understand her feelings are valid if she's disappointed and hurt. But I feel like they can talk. They can definitely talk to them about that. So in just saying this, I do want to go back to the Danny and the Gap situation because it's a similar thing. I do have to remember that being on that show, they probably did feel like this is the end all be all. And if I don't close my gap, my career is over. I understand that it is a hard choice to make, but honestly, it still is a choice. Jay did not have to come back. He could have just said, well, fuck y'all, bitch, or whatever. But I can understand why she got her gap closed and stayed. And I can also understand why Jay stayed. See, I can understand all of the choices. It doesn't matter what choices people made. I can actually understand all of them. I can understand why why he wanted to go, whatever it is. So I get that. I don't know what else. So, but I want to discuss the overall accountability that needs to be had or it needs to be given to the viewers who made that show a phenomenon. So to us, I'm gonna include myself in that because I watched the show. And even if you're binge watching it now, you're still adding to the success. Remember they was getting on Mona Scott ass a long time ago about love and hip hop, and she's depicting the black people in a certain way. She said, well, there are other programming you can watch if you want to see Kumbaya, if you want to see just only uplifting positive stuff. And if we compare numbers, y'all are more drawn to this. So we as a community do have to acknowledge that we like drama. We like watching people's trauma unfold on TV. We're thoroughly entertained by the Shandy storyline. We're thoroughly entertained by Tiffany. Oh, I forgot to talk about Tiffany. I'm talking about it in a second. We're thoroughly entertained by Tyra going off on Tiffany. We're thoroughly entertained by all of the fights and shit on Love and Hip Hop and on Housewives, and we thoroughly entertained by good old fashioned mess. We like it. We would not be very interested in America's Top Model if everybody was, oh baby, that picture. If you give me a little more next time, baby, it's gonna be great. Oh, you look wonderful, but if you just nobody wanted to see that shit. Everybody loved how Janice Dickinson was talking about them damn girls. We sat there and enjoyed it. I thought it was funny as hell when motherfucking what's his name, Miss J was mocking them girls. I just need a whole reel of Miss J talk shit about them girls. When he said you look like you're on crack. That was great TV. It was funny. We liked looking at it. We enjoyed them going back and forth and fighting with each other. The models getting into it and shit like that. We enjoyed looking at it. So you cannot keep hollering about, it's all about the money. All they care about is the money. So that must mean they follow the money. So if we have the Shandy episode or the Gap episode where all this drama going on, people crying and all that, and we see, ooh, those numbers spike, that's getting the most attention and engagement in the emails or whatever it is, they're going to follow the money and give you more of that. It's simple math. Y'all act like y'all don't get it. If y'all didn't like to look at that type of shit, they wouldn't do it. If they notice, oh, well, when we do the kumbaya, that gets the more ratings, they would have turned towards that. What y'all seem to understand and not understand at the same time about production and these TV shows and all that stuff is that it is all about the money. So if it's all about the money and being kind and nice and coddling and doing all that was where the money was, that's exactly what you would get. They would not air the Shandy shit or the controversial stuff. They wouldn't air any of it if that we didn't get them the most money. Let's bring it up to Love and Hip Hop. If we have a whole season where they just didn't fight and they saw ratings skyrocketed, they would change the whole formula. So you can't negate our responsibility as viewers for what they're pushing more of. So when she said y'all demanded it, we didn't demand it. Yes, you did. You demanded it with your viewership. Absolutely. You demanded it with watching it. You demanded it with talking about it. Because guess what? Ain't nobody talking about the positive experiences because positivity don't sell. You ain't noticed that? You haven't noticed the positivity don't sell? Which is why nobody wants to just look at no damn show of just everybody being nice. And again, why did they bring Janice Dickinson on there for her to talk shit like she did? Because they were mimicking what? Simon Cowell on American Idol. Simon Cowell on American Idol said terrible things about people singing. And guess who loved it? We did. There is no compilation online of the sweet, nice things that Simon Cowell said to the singers. It's not Simon Cowell's sweetest, nicest things critiques. That would get 10 views. Put Simon Cowell's shadiest moments, Simon Cowell's most ruthless critiques, or the Simon Cowell's worst comments he said, millions of views. And who's watching us? So y'all have to stop with cut the shit cut the shit. Shut up. Y'all ain't the victims. Y'all act like this whole top model thing was a secret R. Kelly tape or something. That you just, I was so traumatized watching it. Well, bitch, now we gotta look at you. Why the fuck you watching it? So if you're gonna make Tyra take accountability, you gotta take it too. You watched it over and over again. I don't like baddies. Baddies is just bottom of the barrel, hood, ratchet shit. I don't watch it because I don't like it. It's kind of the end of it. It kind of is. I don't add to the success of that show. But if you added to the success then or now on streaming sites, the top model, shut up. Because anybody asking you to be traumatized. You're sitting there watching it because you like it. And if it was all nice and and it's not reflective of the real industry. The initial intentions of top model, I feel, were very pure. You needed to see what the fuck it's like. And Tyra let them girls down easier than Janice did, and then the real model industry would have. Janice saying she's fat, she needs to lose weight. She looks like that. What the fuck do you think them people are saying in the industry? They're even more cutthroat. What are you talking about? It's kind of like Diddy with Making the Band when he was like booing at the people performing. Boo! Throwing shit. Have y'all been to the Apollo? That's how it is. And so, if that's how it is, if audiences, like, let's take the Apollo, if audiences are rude and throwing shit, again, that accountability falls back on y'all. Why the fuck y'all so mean to the performers? So, if we're going to play the accountability game, everybody needs to take accountability, including your ass who watched it and binge watched it and liked it and secretly enjoyed it. Y'all into the plot thick, Shandy. You wasn't sitting there crying about it, and you ain't crying about Shandy now. It ain't that deep. Well, she got some dick on. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-fucking-do. All right? Now, I didn't know that they was helping Tiffany off camera. But, of course, Tiffany came and clapped back and just said, Tyra, you ain't shit. All right, cool. I can't really argue with people's personal experiences as far as, like, she feels like Tyra did her wrong. It's so many parts of the story I don't know about. I don't really know. I don't. I see that. I don't know the gray areas of what pertained to all that. And I will put this kind of late for a disclaimer, but obviously we don't know every single thing that happened, but we only have the information that we have, right? So I don't know, Tiffany did have the fetus attitude. I mean, she and it's rough. She came from that shit. We can empathize with that, just doubting yourself and not feeling like you can do it. I felt like that before, doubting myself, doubting my power, so I can empathize with that. But it's funny how they said the most talked about part is when she went off on her. That's the most watched clip. That's what y'all engage with the most. Takes me back to my point. Y'all engage with negativity. It was plenty of scenes that Tyra was supportive and kind and uplifting towards the girls. Is any of that viral worthy? Is that what any of y'all are going back to watch? No. We're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. How dare you? You want the negativity. So cut the shit. I'm gonna drive my last point home. It's funny how on a reality TV show where there's no grooming, there's no like years of emotional manipulation, there's no like physical abuse, there's no essay, there's like none of that going on. And if it is going on, it's going on for a short period of time. I think it takes like maybe 2 months or something to film a season. I don't know. So you have, and if something's weird the first day, like that girl said, look, I'm not fucking with y'all. I don't like this. I'm not doing it. So it's a short amount of time. And most people obviously are not going to make it to a month in. Most people eliminate the first week or two, or whatever, whatever it is. It's amazing how with Tyra Banks in this show, y'all are blaming production. Y'all are blaming Tyra. Y'all are blaming the host. Y'all are blaming Nigel. Y'all are blaming Janice. Y'all are blaming everybody for that. But when R. Kelly victims come out and say, I was groomed. No, you wasn't. You was there because you wanted to be white and just leave. Well, when I met him when I was 12, and he really got in my mind, and he had like power over my whole life because he was like giving me money and giving my whole family money. But still, it ain't about the money. Why you care about the money? If it was that bad, you would have left. Okay, yeah, but I had been actually being abused my whole life. And so when I met him, it made sense. And I was just young. I was 12. But you could have left. You was there because you wanted to be. You was 13, but you should have known everything. And just while you over there, Matt, well, you let him pee on you. You did that. You did that. You was fast. You knew what you were doing. Anybody did nothing. You liked it. Da, 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 da. I believe you had to be, 18? Technically an adult to be on Top Model. But none of them could just leave the show because they were treated so bad. Y'all truly do pick and choose when you want to blame the victim. And you could say, "Cindy, you've been blaming the victim the whole time." Okay, you can say that. But the scenarios are so different. Y'all keep talking about accountability and consent. You was 13, but you liked it. You did it. These people, some of these people on Top Model were 20, 21, 18, 21, 22, 23, 25. How old was Danny when somebody forced her to close that gap? You know what I'm saying? It's nuances to all of this. And I just think it's hilarious how y'all don't give any of the contestants any responsibility for their choice to stay on a show, for their choice to get their gap closed, for their choice to get drunk and do all of this stuff. It's all production, all Tyra, but it's all the 13-year-old girls, all the girls with R. Kelly in them, and Diddy. It's all Cassie. Diddy had no control over what anybody did. So y'all need to pick and choose how y'all want to do this. How I feel about it is a lot of time it's scenario by scenario, situation by situation. But I will argue and say that I empathize a lot more with a 13-year-old being groomed by R. Kelly at that age than I do with you getting your motherfucking gap closed because you didn't want to go home off of a reality TV show. Our empathy is just a little stronger in different places. My sympathy is just a little stronger in different motherfucking places. I mean, production, they would say little stuff and just be messy and, then they wasn't picking the top photo. Now, that's when we can get, they wasn't shit for that too. I do really feel like even with all I said, I feel like production could have left it kind of as it was, and it would have been good mess. You can't not have mess in a situation like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to act like, you don't need to keep this girl who don't deserve to win. It definitely should have stayed and been about who actually is the best model. For real, not who the storyline. It should have stayed authentic in that way. I agree with that 100%. But production kind of asking questions to get a reaction out of you is definitely okay. That's what they're gonna do. Kenya talking about eating her gaining weight. Now, Kenya, you did. You gained a little bit of weight. You're in the modeling industry. What do y'all? It's like almost y'all don't understand what y'all doing. Like what the fuck? You're in a superficial business, so you have to be in shape and stay in shape. You know what I'm saying? You have to. So do you think you gaining 10 pounds within a couple of months would have gone unnoticed if you wasn't on the show? No, they would have told your ass to tighten up there too, but they would have probably been a lot less nice. Tyra was actually nice. And Tyra, and y'all, oh my God, I can go on and on. Well, Tyra, she keeps talking about she don't want to shame people for their body. And look what she's doing. I don't think she shamed anybody, but she was telling the truth. I would love to wave a wand and make big 600-pound life motherfuckers fashionable and shit. But I don't have that kind of power. Right now, it is what it is. You do have to tighten up. Y'all was doing too much with that. Now, the plus size models, again, a lot of doors were open for women that Tyra opened to give diversity. You can't take that shit away. Even Whitney said I wouldn't have been able to even have a chance if it wasn't for Tyra. So you're a plus size model. You're gonna get talked about your weight. They didn't even want you anyway. You're there because she gave you an opportunity. You just are. Yeah, that's just is what it is. You're on a show gaining weight. That's not cool. But they didn't put the part where she was saying that a plus size model was losing weight and she needed to stay plus size. You know what I'm saying? And I will say that the narrative was clearly one way because they didn't have any of the successful top models on there. So we have to always understand that shit is edited and it's a narrative in place. Just like Kenya eating the same bagel, but they edited like she kept eating them. I'm sure all of that stuff is fucked up. I'm sure it just sucks when you don't have any control over your narrative. And that's unfortunately what happens anytime anybody's on a reality TV show. You don't have control over shit. You sign your rights away to your image and your likeness when you do it. If you feel like that, don't join reality TV. But you also can be vocal about it, but I don't know what good it'll do. So I can go on all day about this. I just kind of want to end this shit because, I mean, and I feel like y'all will watch Top Model. But y'all probably won't watch Top Model if it's kumbaya. If y'all don't nobody want to see that shit. We want to see some mess. Because while y'all talking about Oh my God, Top Model so bad. That show is nothing compared to the shit we are consuming every single day. Love and Hip Hop was way worse. All that shit. What are you talking about? Like, motherfucking Love After Lockup, these trailer trash drug addicts with no teeth, the wild shit they be doing over there. It's like, come on. So if Top Model comes out and they being all nice, the ratings will probably be low, and y'all blame it on the fact that nobody like Tyra. No, the truth is that, and I hope Tyra don't listen to y'all. I hope she does keeps the mess going, because that's what we want to see. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this video, because I'm about tired talking about this shit. Anyway, love y'all. Peace.